The United States is commonly recognized as a global superpower, noted for its economic and political influence and its status as a hub for business and innovation. Yet, despite this image of progress, the nation faces significant social challenges, with homelessness standing out as one of the most urgent. This issue is especially prominent in many large cities, presenting a stark contrast to America's reputation as a land of opportunity and wealth. Let's examine some of the U.S. cities that experience the highest rates of homelessness. First is San Francisco, which is home to approximately 7,082 homeless individuals, making it the 10th city in the U.S. with the largest homeless population. San Francisco is globally celebrated for landmarks like the Golden Gate Bridge and its proximity to Silicon Valley, a major center for technological advancement. However, it also grapples with deep-rooted social issues. The city's exorbitant cost of living, driven by soaring property values and rental prices, has made it one of the most expensive places to live worldwide. This financial burden has significantly contributed to its homelessness crisis, highlighting the stark contrast between its wealth and the increasing number of people without stable housing. Moving on, we have Sacramento, California's capital. Sacramento is known for its governmental importance, rich cultural heritage, and beautiful natural surroundings. Although it is more affordable compared to other major cities in the state, it still struggles with the growing problem of homelessness, with about 9,281 homeless people, placing it ninth nationwide. Despite having a lower cost of living than cities like San Francisco or Los Angeles, Sacramento faces a significant housing shortage, which exacerbates its homelessness and related social challenges. Next is Phoenix, Arizona, where around 9,642 homeless individuals reside, making it 8th among U.S. cities with the highest homeless populations. Phoenix is a popular destination for tourists, attracting visitors to landmarks such as the Desert, Botanical Garden, and Camelback Mountain. However, beneath its scenic beauty lies a disturbing reality. Economic inequality and rising living costs have worsened Phoenix's homelessness problem, which is largely driven by a critical shortage of affordable housing. Skyrocketing home prices and rental rates have put housing out of reach for many low-income residents. Additionally, Phoenix is grappling with a severe opioid epidemic. Over 2,000 residents in Arizona have died from opioid overdoses, driven in large part by fentanyl, a potent synthetic opioid. According to the Arizona Department of Health Services, an average of 5 people die each day in the state due to opioid-related overdoses. This growing crisis further complicates Phoenix's social issues, deepening both the public health and housing challenges that many cities across the U.S. are currently facing. Let's turn our attention to Oakland, California, a city located just east of the San Francisco Bay. Famous for its cultural diversity, vibrant art scene, and one of the busiest ports in the world, Oakland's dynamic urban atmosphere hides some serious social challenges. Chief among these is homelessness, with around 9,759 people living without permanent housing, placing Oakland 7th among U.S. cities with the highest homeless populations. The rapid increase in housing costs has made it difficult for many residents to afford rent. This disparity is strikingly evident when comparing affluent neighborhoods like Piedmont, where luxurious homes are abundant, to areas like East Oakland, where rows of tents line the sidewalks, sheltering the homeless. A local property manager even remarked that the sight of RVs parked around apartment complexes often shocks potential renters, making it harder to lease units. This contrast serves as a stark reminder of the widening gap between the city's thriving and struggling populations. Now, let's consider San Jose, the center of Silicon Valley, and home to tech giants such as Apple, Google, and Facebook. Despite its status as a hub of technological innovation and immense wealth, San Jose has a homeless population of about 9,903, making it the sixth largest in the country. The irony here is glaring. While San Jose boasts some of the richest individuals on the planet, it also faces a worsening homelessness crisis. Housing costs in the area are astronomical, with median home prices often exceeding $1 million, making San Jose one of the most expensive real estate markets in the U.S. As a result, lower-income residents, including service workers, teachers, and even some public employees, are often forced to live far from the city, or in some cases, into homelessness. This housing inequality highlights the stark divide between Silicon Valley's immense wealth and the hardships faced by its less affluent residents. Next is Denver, Colorado's capital, renowned for its stunning natural surroundings framed by the majestic Rocky Mountains. Denver's homeless population stands at around 10,054 people, making it the fifth highest in the U.S. when it comes to homelessness. Experts agree that solving this issue requires prioritizing housing, but Colorado is experiencing a severe housing shortage, ranking 7th in the nation. The state faces a deficit of nearly 70,000 housing units. This shortfall drives up both rent and home prices, making it even harder for vulnerable populations to secure stable housing in Denver. Finally, we come to San Diego, known for its perfect weather and beautiful beaches. Beneath the surface of this coastal city, however, lies a significant social challenge. San Diego has approximately 10,264 homeless individuals, placing it fourth among U.S. cities with the largest homeless populations. The city's popularity with tourists and retirees has driven up the cost of living, pushing longtime residents to the brink of poverty. One such resident, Tracy Bennett, a 54-year-old woman, has been forced to relocate her tent and belongings multiple times as city workers routinely clear sidewalk encampments. Despite finding temporary refuge near the popular Gaslamp Quarter, government notices continue to force her out. After spending 7 years living on the streets, Tracy feels that these frequent evictions of homeless camps fail to address the underlying causes of homelessness. "We're not bad people," she says. "We're just in a bad situation." Her words capture the deep frustration shared by many in similar circumstances. To Tracy, these efforts to clear out camps only waste resources, offering no real solutions to the broader crisis. Moving on, we come to Seattle, where 14,149 people are homeless, giving the city the third largest homeless population in the United States. Seattle, known for its tech-driven economy with companies like Amazon and Microsoft based there, has seen rapid economic growth. But this prosperity contrasts sharply with the worsening homelessness crisis. The city's booming wealth, powered by its thriving tech sector, highlights the gap between the affluent and the rising number of people living without shelter. A story that reflects the harsh reality of homelessness in Seattle is that of Kara Bernstein. Like many others, Kara sought refuge in the jungle, an encampment beneath a highway, infamous for its tough conditions. Despite the risks, Kara felt a sense of security there. After years of being homeless, she had come to appreciate the sense of community the jungle provided, a rare feeling of belonging in an otherwise harsh world. This shows how complex homelessness in Seattle can be, where, despite the availability of shelters, many opt for dangerous living conditions because of the sense of camaraderie and support they find. Turning to Los Angeles, California, the homelessness crisis is even more severe, with a staggering 71,320 individuals experiencing homelessness. LA, celebrated as the world's entertainment capital, now holds the second largest homeless population in the U.S. The city's skyrocketing cost of living has made affordable housing increasingly scarce, and between 2020 and 2023, the homeless population grew by 12%, underscoring the failure of local government measures to fully address the crisis. One of the most well-known areas of LA's homeless struggle is Skid Row, a neighborhood synonymous with homelessness, where streets are lined with tents and makeshift shelters that cling to the sides of industrial buildings. In some cases, homeless residents even tap into streetlights for electricity to power their temporary homes. While efforts have been made to provide housing to nearly 60,000 homeless individuals, many refuse assistance, choosing to preserve their independence, even if it means living in dangerous and unstable conditions. The stark contrast between affluent areas, like Beverly Hills, and the destitution of Skid Row serves as a powerful reminder of LA's deep social inequality. Los Angeles' homelessness crisis is compounded by issues of crime, particularly ongoing gang violence that has plagued parts of the city since the 1970s. Gangs such as the Crips and Bloods continue to exert influence in certain neighborhoods, especially in South LA, where drug-related and gun violence remain persistent threats. The coexistence of extreme wealth and entrenched poverty makes LA a city of sharp contrasts, with homelessness standing out as one of its most visible and urgent problems. Finally, we arrive at New York City, often called the Big Apple and the largest city in the United States, which also bears the unfortunate distinction of having the highest homeless population in the nation. With over 88,000 people experiencing homelessness, the city's image as a land of opportunity is overshadowed by the increasing severity of its homelessness crisis. For decades, New York has been a beacon for immigrants seeking a better life, and the recent influx of newcomers from places like Colombia, Chad, Burundi, Peru, Venezuela, and Madagascar continues that trend. However, many of these immigrants arrive with hopes of finding refuge, only to be confronted by harsh realities. Despite the city's legal obligation to provide shelter for anyone who requests it, a sharp increase in the migrant population, nearly 100,000 in the past year, has overwhelmed the system. Shelters are at capacity, and efforts to ease the burden by establishing tent cities and repurposing hotels and office spaces have fallen short. Outside intake centers like the Roosevelt Hotel, migrants are often left to sleep on the streets as they wait for temporary housing. Meanwhile, New York's shelter system is buckling under the pressure. The surge in homelessness, combined with diminishing federal and state resources, has left the city struggling to meet the demand for housing and essential services, resulting in a growing humanitarian crisis in one of the world's most iconic cities.